Welcome to Ordinary People Podcast, where we talk to ordinary people with extraordinary stories. I'm your host, Alan the Great, and today we're going to discuss on the Ordinary Opinion segment how to get rich in less than 30 seconds. Yes, my listeners, I'm going to tell you how to get rich in less than 30 seconds. All you have to do is start believing that you can get rich, sit down, and write out a plan. Put it in your pocket and walk around. That's it. That's all you gotta do. All right, thank you for listening to Ordinary People Podcast, where we talk to ordinary people with extraordinary stories. Peace. Now, is that accurate? Did you think that that was going to be what I was going to discuss today? If you did, sorry to disappoint you. No, I don't have the solution to getting rich within 30 seconds. Nor does anyone else that tried to sell you that. What we're going to really discuss today is our ability to think, our ability to make proper choices that can lead to that happiness, to lead to that financial security, to maintain and keep the things we want. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you my opinion on thinking, on choices, and how important those two things are into your success, not just today, but for every day. You know, people often, if you stay up late and you turn on your TV, you'll see an infomercial, right? And they'll offer you these books. 100 ways to get rich. All you have to do is buy my book for $19.99, and there's 100 ways to get rich. And majority of you listeners, because you're very intelligent, because I have very intelligent listeners, they say, yeah, I'm not buying that because I know it's bullcrap. And some of you may have bought this book. Now, does that make you a not an intelligent person? No. That doesn't mean you're not intelligent. That means you care about your future. That means that you want something and that you know what you want and you're just looking for the path on how to get it. Now, on the Ordinary People Podcast, one of the things you might commonly hear me refer to is the microwave society. And what I mean by the microwave society is the microwave society is people who are we. We want things now. We don't want to wait for something to cook in the oven. We don't want to wait for that food to cook on the stove. We want to put it in the microwave, hit 30 seconds, and pull it out and start eating. Not wait 30 minutes, not wait 60 minutes. I want it 30 seconds, and I want it now. And that's our mentality with money, with things we want, the things we believe we need. We have that microwave society mentality. And books like these commercials I just mentioned, they prey on that. There's people that prey on that mentality, and they sell you things. They sell you these things in books. Now, if they had the answers to $1 million, 100 ways to make $1 million, do you really think they would be selling you a book? Is one of those ways to sell somebody else a book that promises the same thing? Because if not, then you automatically have to say, yeah, this just doesn't seem right. But see, that requires thinking. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, common sense will tell you that, nah, that's not accurate. But see, here's the common misconception, is assuming that most people have common sense. And this is not to disrespect anybody, to belittle anybody, but to just be honest. Most of us don't use our common sense because, see, most of the people who invest in these scams and get scammed out of their money by the Nigerian scams and these books and all these broken promises, most of these people are in impoverished situations. Most of these people are in financial ruin. Most of these people don't know how to critically think. Never was taught. And when you're desperate, and we all have been there at one point in our lives, when you're desperate, you reach out for anything to help you. You look for anything to guide you, to get you to that place where you feel in happiness, where you feel in that sense of security that you've been lacking, that you can fill those voids of wants and needs that's been missing. You will do anything. And that includes shutting off that part of your brain that controls critically thinking, that controls common sense. Then you have books like The Secret or the Laws of Attraction that are not as should be mentioned in the same breath as the book that's selling you 100 ways to make $1 million in 30 seconds. It shouldn't, but there a lot of times, and I read these books, they're missing one important factor that I believe we all should be given. It's not just about the way you think, it's about our actions, our choices. What do I mean by our choices? Yes, I agree with The Secret. I agree with the laws of attraction that you should believe that you can achieve any goal. That you should believe every time you walk to a mailbox, that you should believe that you will have a check for $1 million in that mailbox, or that you are going to win a lottery or such. But the only way you win the lottery is if you actually play the lottery. You get where I'm going at with this? We have to make the choice to take our actions. And we need people who are promoting these ways of thinking to also encourage people that it's not just so simple as writing something down on paper. It's not so simple as putting $20 in your wallet and walking around with it. But you actually have to put the action behind it. Why I say put $20 in a wallet? Where did that come from? Did I just pull it out of the air? No, I didn't. Jim Carrey told a story before he became rich, hit big with Living Color in multiple movies like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Bruce Almighty, just to name a few of his movies. You know, he was once just like you and me and many other people, you know, impoverished, didn't have money, had big dreams, big goals, and didn't necessarily have a way of getting it. Or not having a way, didn't know how he was going to get it. So one of the things he did was he wrote himself a check and he put it in his wallet. He walked around with that check. Put a certain amount on there, a certain date. He wanted to have that amount of money. But he did something else that helped him eventually reach that financial security. He didn't just put that check in there in his wallet and hoped that one day that money would manifest. He actually put work in. He went to auditions. He worked on his craft. He kept building, kept teaching, kept learning, kept building his skills, and he eventually created an opportunity to get a break and to make that money. And see, that's the part we miss. We think that we can just throw something into the universe or throw something at God and expect something to come back without any work, and that's not accurate. And when I talk to people, a lot of times, that's what they tell you. You got to change the way you think, and you have to focus on the way you think, but what about my actions? I have to coordinate my thinking with my actions and make sure they work together. That's what's important. Now, you're going to have some people who's probably listening right now, and they probably say to me, well, Alan the Great, I've been working hard. I've been praying, I've been working hard, I've been thinking, and I've been positive thinking. Not just thinking, I've been positively thinking, and I can't get a break. I read The Secret, I read the Laws of Attraction, I read the Bible. I did everything. I listened to videos of motivational speeches, and I still haven't made it yet. Here's what I would say to that person. What's your goal? Then where's your plan for your goal? How's your confidence? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? See, I'm asking you very difficult questions, and you probably, well, why are you asking me these difficult questions? What does that have to do with why I have not achieved success yet? Well, what does that have to do with it is you have to have a plan for success. You have to have a goal. To have success, it has to be a goal in mind that you want to achieve. It has to be that house you want to buy, that car you want to buy, that job you want to have, that company you have to want to own. That certain amount of money you feel like you need to have financial security, you have to have that set in mind of what do you want to get. You have to have a destination set in mind. Okay, you have that. Next thing is create small victories. Small goals. What I mean by small goals is, what do I mean by that? Alright, let's say you want to be a daycare provider. Start your goals with, okay, I want to get 3 kids to be a part of my daycare. And after you achieve that, move it up to 6. After you achieve that, move it up to 9. And keep building that way. Don't walk in and say, I want 70 kids in 6 centers. It has to be something obtainable by you. Now you notice I use obtainable and not realistic. I'm going to tell you why I didn't use the word realistic in a few moments. Just give me a moment to get to that. But you have to make something that you can feel and reach, that's in your control, capability to grab. Create the small goals that way. What them small goals also do is it accompanies that way of thinking that people have been telling you, that the secret, the laws of attraction, been telling you to think, positive thinking. It's only going to reinforce that because it's going to build confidence in the way you're thinking. It's going to be build confidence in you that, look, I can achieve those goals. Because see, I succeeded at getting 3 people. Then I succeeded at getting 6. Then I succeeded at 9. I succeeded at 12. So getting 15, see, you're building that confidence. Your actions, your choices, and your way of thinking is now building that confidence that now I can achieve anything. See, that's work that you're putting in with thinking. That's not walking to the mailbox hoping to see that $1 million check. That's putting that thought that you're going to build it, but the work so that it makes sense that it's there. Now let's go back to realistic, okay? Now I said to you, I didn't use the word realistic, and I said I'm going to tell you why I didn't use the word realistic. Why I didn't use the word realistic is because, if you watch the media, if you talk to people, you talk to your friends, your family, all these people, one of the things you'll commonly hear when you talk about some of your goals is that they're not realistic. Have you heard that before? I'm sure you have. I have. We all have heard it. It might not have been from your mother or your sister, your brother, or your best friend. It might have been watching a popular TV show, a talk show. And at some point in your life, you have heard, whether directly or indirectly, it has been said to you that something you want to do is unrealistic. That something you are thinking is unrealistic. You're probably saying, give me an example. You might be watching ESPN and you might be an aspiring basketball player. And you might hear a host say, "You will never be great as Michael Jordan. I don't care how hard you work. There's only one Michael Jordan. It is unrealistic to believe you will be ever great as Michael Jordan." They're telling you your goal to be greater than Michael Jordan is unrealistic. You might be an actor, want to be an actor, an inspiring actor, and you're working hard at your craft and you're trying to build your craft. And you might hear someone say, "You'll never be great as Will Smith or Tom Hanks. I don't care how hard you work. You'll never be great as Julia Roberts. You'll never. It's unrealistic that you'll ever be that person." See, that's people telling you it's unrealistic. It might not be a media person. It might be your mother, your uncle, your cousin, your best friend. You sit here talking about, "I have a dream to build the next great tech company." You'll never be Steve Jobs. You'll never be Mark Zuckerberg. It's impossible. That's unrealistic. Well, let's tackle the idea that everybody's saying that it's unrealistic that you can achieve those goals. And where does choice and thinking play into this? Let me give you some examples of unrealistic things that's been accomplished. Apple. Let's start there. Apple. You know Apple, iPhone, iPod, iPad, Mac computers, iWatch, iTV, iTunes. I can go on and on. We all know what Apple is. I don't need to continue. Steve Jobs. Let's talk about the beginning of Apple and the unrealistic that it would ever be the tech giant that it is today. Let's go back to the beginning of Apple for 1 second. Did you know the creator of all these great things that you love and you work so hard to aspire to get money to buy was once an unrealistic thoughts? That it was unrealistic that Apple would be successful? Did you realize that? That Steve Jobs was kicked out of his company? And that when he was kicked out of his company, Apple, that it almost failed until they brought him back? Did you understand that it was unrealistic when him and his partner first decided to create computers? It was unrealistic. Who would want these giant things in their house? It was unrealistic. But you're probably like, okay, that's one example. Give me another. Amazon. Come on, think about it. How unrealistic it was for a bunch of people in a garage creating an opportunity that you can shop online. Think about it. You're going to buy clothes that you can't try on. You're going to buy shoes that you can't see. You're going to tell me you're going to buy a ring that you can't look at. You can't look at, you can't feel, you can't touch none of stuff. You mean to tell me there's people that's actually going to buy stuff from online? That is unrealistic that anybody would ever do that. But think about how much you shop online right now. And you tell me how unrealistic it is that those people thought about Amazon. You think about Disney, ESPN, news channels, they own Star Wars franchise, all these things. Think about it. Started out with not Mickey Mouse, but Steamboat Willie. Yes, Steamboat Willie was Mickey Mouse before he became Mickey Mouse. A mouse, wearing shorts, no shirt, walking around with a little cap on, black and white cartoon, no words. Steamboat Willie, driving the boat. Who would ever thought a mouse? Think about it. Who wants a mouse in their house? In your house, you don't want a rodent. We call a mouse a rodent. It's one of the most disgusting things in the world. You don't want it around your food. You don't want it in your house. Who would think that this would turn into becoming one of the biggest companies in the world, that you're walking around a theme park with mouse ears on? That's unrealistic. So see, a lot of things people try to put on you, they try to say it's unrealistic. So is it truly unrealistic that you can be better than Michael Jordan? That you can be better than Will Smith? That you can be better than Mark Zuckerberg? Is it really unrealistic that you can be the next millionaire? No. There's no such thing as unrealistic. And I said, I'm going to tie this into thinking and choices, right? See, it's our thinking that makes these things unrealistic. It's our thinking that people who are telling us this has our best interest in mind, that's trying to protect us and save us from failure. It's our choice to accept this information that holds us back from receiving the things that's out there for us, which is success, happiness, that financial security. That's what stops us, because we look at people and they tell us our goals are unrealistic, our vision is unrealistic, our creations are unrealistic. And why do they tell you that? Let's examine, why do people tell you that? Why is your cousin, your uncle, your dad, your mom, that person on television telling you that your goals are unrealistic, that you can never be as big as they are or bigger than they are? Why? You know why? Because they're allowing their fears to control them, and they're projecting their fears on you. Did you ever heard anybody ever say to you, or have you ever said to anybody, I don't like when you talk down on me? What does that mean when you say you don't like when somebody talks down on you? It means that somebody's looking down on you and talking to you from a higher elevated space, or they're looking down on you like they're more superior than you. See, people who are telling you that your goals, your dreams, your way of thinking is unrealistic are people who have those type of fears that they can't achieve that. Meaning, the person who's saying you can't be the next Michael Jordan, you can't be the next Steve Jobs, you can't be the next Will Smith, Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, those people who are telling you that have a fear that they can't be it. But they also have a feeling of superiority over you, where they're looking down on you, telling you what you can and can't do based off of their experiences, based off the limitations that they have for their own life. And only you can make that choice whether to accept that information, to believe and think that information is accurate. You have the choice to believe that. And it's up to you to accept it. You can be whatever you want to be, but you have to understand it's going to take work. See, Michael Jordan didn't come out and just become this great player. Will Smith didn't come out and become this great actor. Steve Jobs didn't come out and just become this great innovator. See, all these people, one thing they have in common is they put work into it. It just wasn't thinking. It wasn't just vision. It wasn't just a choice to become this. They had to put in work to become this, and they had to keep exercising that work, exercising that brain, motivating themselves, and surrounding themselves with people who have like-minded and can add to what they're trying to do. See, thinking and choice. A lot of times we pick up these books and things hoping that they're going to give us the information we need and give us this guide that we need to get success, when the reality is, and I'm going to take you to church for a second here, listeners. God has already instilled in you all the tools that you need to get success, to reach financial security. You don't need me or anybody else to tell you how to think, what to think, how to get what you want. You already know. Sometimes the simplest thing to do in life is the hardest thing to do. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by sometimes the simplest thing to do in life is the hardest thing to do? Sometimes the simplest thing being is to trust yourself, to believe in yourself, to tap in to that inner talent of you, to listen to yourself when it's constantly telling you, you are great. That's hard to do. Why is that hard to do? Because we have so much noise outside of us. There's so much talking from the right, the left, the back, to the front. People surrounding us telling us what we can't do, what you can't do, what limitations you should have on your life. And we believe and start thinking that way. And we think that way because we choose to think that way and believe in that. But, my listeners, we have the choice to not think that way. We have the choice to go beyond what people deem is realistic and unrealistic and challenge it. You know, I know that most people say, well, it's not just my thinking and, people telling me my goals are unrealistic. What about fear? I'm scared. What if I fail? What if I don't succeed? What if I listen to what you're saying and I believe that I can be better than Michael Jordan? And I go out here and try out for a team and I fail and I fall flat on my face and everybody laughs at me. I'm fearful of that. What if I go out here and I bomb on my first acting call? What if I bomb? That's all fear. Let me get personal about this for a second. I give a lot of advice to people. And today I'm going to actually take some of my own advice. I'm going to eat my own medicine, my own food. One of the things I tell people is you need to be real with your audience. If you want to be a musician, you need to be real with your audience. Let the people know who you are, why you're doing this, what you're doing this for. You're probably saying, what does this have to do with fear? Give me a second, let me get to it. Today, I want to be honest with my audience. Let me be honest with y'all. Let me explain to y'all why I created the Ordinary People podcast. Why am I on this microphone talking to you right now? I created this platform because, like most of you, I was fearful. I was fearful of failure. But most importantly, I was more fearful of success. What if I succeed? What if I do a great job and everybody loves me? What if this thing goes through the roof? What is that going to do for my life? What is that going to do for my family life? But that's not all I was fearful of. When I started thinking, I really started coming up with a list of things I was fearful of. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Here's what I was fearful of. I was fearful of having a kid. I was fearful of buying a house. I was fearful of getting married. I was fearful of ever leaving my job. I was starting to see, I had this long list of things I was fearful of. And then one day I said, you know what? This list is holding you back from accomplishing all the things that you want to do. This list right here is the only thing that's stopping you from being successful, to being happy, to obtaining financial security, for your family to be happy. So then you know what I did? I made a conscious decision, a choice, to look at that list and face and go head on with every single fear on that list, one by one, and mark them off as I did it. And that's my decision with coming up with this podcast. My reason for this podcast is because What I want to do is I want to inspire you. I want to inspire many people to go against their fears, whatever it may be. Whatever your fear may be, I want to inspire you to go against those fears. To go head on with them fears, to conquer, tackle, and show them fears that they don't exist and they're not going to stop you from achieving all the things that's out here laid out for you. All the great, beautiful things that you want, you need, and that you deserve. I wanted to give people a platform to tell their stories to inspire others. To show people that yes, we all have fears. And I still have fears. And I'm still working on that list. I'm not done. I'm far from done. But my goal is to conquer that list. And I challenge all my listeners to create that list of fears that you have. Those fears that are stopping you from being the next great innovator. Those fears are stopping you from challenging the things that people say are unrealistic to you. Those fears are stopping you from having financial security. My challenge to you is to challenge them fears so you can get past it. So you can obtain what's out there for you. Only thing is going to stop you is you. Now there's people that can hold you down, they can slow you down. But understand what I'm saying to you. Nobody can stop you but you. See, people can tell you how to think, but you have the choice whether to listen to and believe what they're telling you how to think. People can tell you how your mind works, what choice you should make, you shouldn't make, what's realistic, what's not realistic. But what you have to understand is, ultimately you have the choice whether you want to accept the information someone's giving you or not. And if you choose not to, that's up to you. And that's your decision. That's your right. They can't stop you. They can slow you down, but they can't stop you. Don't look for a book to give you all the answers. A book, whether it's the Bible, the laws of attraction, The Secret, those books are used only to guide you, not to define who you are. Not to define who you are, what you are, and what you deserve. Use them books as a tool to guide you. Just another tool that you're going to put in your tool belt. When you go and fix a car for the mechanics, you don't go and grab one wrench and expect it to do every job. You go into there and there's a bunch of different tools. You got screwdrivers, you have wrenches, you have ratchets, you have pliers. You have all kinds of different tools when you reach in there to do a job. Look at a book the same way. One book is not going to define you and give you all the answers and all the tools to do everything in your life and achieve everything in your life. That's just one tool. One tool that's going to help you with one aspect of what you're trying to do. And you need to keep inquiring more tools, more education, keep learning, more training so you can get it. When you go to the gym, you don't exercise, you don't lift weights, and it builds your legs, your neck strength, your stomach, your quads. No, you lift weights to build your arms. You lift weights for your legs to build your legs. You do squats for your legs. You do sit-ups, you do push-ups to work on your chest, your stomach. You see how that works? You exercise different parts in your body and you use different exercise tools to exercise and build strength in different parts of your body. Well, see, you have to treat your mind the same way. See, it's not only about thinking. It's about choices. It's about work. It's about motivation. It's about inspiration. It's about creativeness. You have to have all of these different tools in order to create success for yourself, to get you that financial security, to find that ultimate happiness that you have for yourself. My challenge to you today is to reach down inside you to find those tools. To create a goal, create a plan, and work on it. I'm going to quote Will Smith before I go. Will Smith said that once somebody told him to build a wall, I believe it's his dad, told him build a wall. Him and his brother looked at his dad and said, "That's impossible." And his dad stopped him, "Don't ever say it's impossible." Then he said, "You don't look at the wall and try to build the best wall. What you do is you focus on that one brick and try to lay that brick as perfect as possible. And you build from that point on." See, in life, that's what you should do. Start from that one brick and lay that brick as perfect as possible. And after you lay that one brick, the next brick do the same thing. And before you know it, you, my listeners, you too will build the perfect wall, or the perfect house, or the perfect foundation, the perfect building to harness and store all these great ideas, all the financial security, all the happiness, all the love that you've been crying for, that you've been working for, that you've been praying for. You can do it. You can do it. And despite anybody telling you can't, I'm telling you today, you can do it. Make the right choices. Think. Take a second, slow down and think. More importantly, don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to failure. Don't be afraid. Listen to me. You can learn a lot more from failure than you can success. Probably like, that sounds crazy. What do you mean by you can learn a lot more from failure than success? What I mean by it is you learn a way not to do something. You learn a million ways not to do something. Alexander Bell created a phone. When he failed 100 or 1,000 times at trying to make the phone, he didn't look at it that way. He looked at it as not failing to make it. He looked at it as 1,000 to 100 ways not to do it. And that's how you turn around and look at failure. Failure is only a way of telling you not to do it. Just giving you a map and a plan, instructions on what not to do. Failure helps you create success. It helps you get to success. Another innovator, you think about musician Jay-Z, for my younger listeners. Think about it. Jay-Z was turned down by multiple different companies, record companies. Multiple. Yeah, you'll never make it. Nah, you rap too fast, you're not good. The greatest rapper in the world was turned down by multiple different companies before creating his own. He built his craft, and look at him now. Look at him now. I can go on and on about innovators who went through some kind of struggle, but resilience and keep working at your craft, keep building, keep learning. Never let anybody tell you that whatever you do is unrealistic. Whatever you want to do is unrealistic. Anything's possible. You have to believe it. You have to think it. And you have to make the choice to go after it. I am Alan the Great, and I want to thank y'all once again for listening to the Ordinary People Podcast, where we talk to ordinary people with extraordinary stories. This has once again been the Ordinary Opinion segment, where I give my opinion on different topics. You're I'm always going to tell you to comment. Let me know what you think about my opinion. Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? If you don't, leave it in the comment box. If you don't feel comfortable, leave it in the comment box. I would like to introduce to you my official email for the Ordinary People Podcast. My email is ordinarypeople16@gmail.com. Once again, if you want to send me an email, if you want to comment, or even share your story, or you have an idea of a segment that you want me to talk about or give my opinion on, you can email me now directly at ordinarypeople16@gmail.com. Once again, it's ordinarypeople16@gmail.com, and that is the number 16. Please email and let me know what you think about this as well as others. Also, subscribe to my page, Alan the Great, on YouTube, where you can listen to multiple other podcasts spanning from the Andre Ryder episode where we talk about drug addiction, how to overcome a drug addiction, or the Bruce Dorsey episode where we talk to life coach Bruce Dorsey, and he tells you about starting your own business, learning how to think, following your dreams, and not letting failure hold you down. Also, check out the Town Hall episode where we talk about racism in America, the 2016 election. So check out the Ordinary Opinion segment where we talk about the 2016 election and why you have the choice to vote and why it's important for you to vote and make your voice heard. Also, check out the Ordinary Opinion segment where we talk about, are there any good men or women out here? I give you my opinion on that and discuss that further. Remember, subscribe to my page at Alan the Great on YouTube.com. Don't be afraid. You can subscribe. It's free, and I'm not going to send you a bunch of crazy emails or no things. But you can be the first to hear and get the new episodes of the podcast first. Make sure you never miss an episode of my extraordinary opinion or my extraordinary interviews. Also, look out for us on SoundCloud at Ordinary People Podcast on SoundCloud. If you have any issues with accessing any of my videos or have any comments, please email me. Once again, it's ordinarypeople16@gmail.com. I'm Alan the Great, and I want to thank y'all for listening. Peace.